Hello friends and welcome back. This is your professional dreamer Alex. Once we reach 100 subscribers, I make a video about lucid dreaming and how to achieve a state that I call fake lucidity, which is a bit more restricted than lucid dreaming, but it gives a lot more insight into your psychology. If you like today's video, please leave a like and or subscription. If you get any questions about this dream, please let me know in the comment section below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Please lay back and enjoy the show. And now, onwards to this dream. This dream started at a train station and I saw an elevator that was almost closing up, and therefore I ran and jumped into it and drove up, and I landed at a place that were only train rails and it was a restricted area. And when I turned around and I saw the elevator doors, there was a handcuff sign, and out of the elevator there came a house elf like from Harry Potter, and he was dressed as a policeman or security guard and he was pointing at his handcuffs. He had a tiny button with him, and when he pressed it, the elevator came back and opened up, and I drove down with him in the elevator without being handcuffed or arrested because it was just a mistake. And later on I was at a McDonald's. My buddy Anton ordered food, and last time he didn't eat all his sauce with it, and he also offered me some food, and somebody from McDonald's gifted me some sparkly water with pineapple juice and regular water in it and pina colada without alcohol. There were a lot of pretty people in McDonald's and they kept staring at me. Later on, after we get something from the store, we went to a football game, but I didn't really want to watch a game. Therefore, I watched the people that were there, and I saw Jeb, Zach's dad. And after I watched all the people, I was looking at the field, and the football game was already over, and some sort of graduation ceremony was taking place. After I left, I wanted to ride my bike down a hill, and I kind of drove two bikes at once, and it was difficult to carry them, therefore I drove them. And during my ride, I recognized that I was missing one of my bikes, so I locked down the one I was currently driving and went back to get the other bike, which was also locked. And that's when I realized I was dreaming and I went lucid, because if I forget a bike, I wouldn't have locked it down, I would have just left it somewhere. And then I drove my two bikes to a school, and there were a lot of nurses and doctors, and then there was a truck with a front loader, and he carried a big piece of wood, and 6 people around secured the load. And the coolest part was when I recognized that my gray bike disappeared in the school, and there was an evil general from Star Wars, and he was evilly laughing. I tried to follow the transporter to find my bike, and I followed him into a shed. I saw the protection of my bike chain underneath a tree log, and I thought maybe that's why he's laughing, because my bike is locked underneath the lock. And then I remembered I can easily pick up that piece of wood, even though it's like 300 kilos. And I lifted it up and placed it on the ground so it looks like a pole. And I only wanted to spook the evil general, but I hoped it didn't tip towards his direction and hurt him. And I was looking what was underneath the lock, and it was actually just the plastic cover without my bike. And then the tree log tipped towards my direction and fell on my back, and I just easily shouldered it with my right shoulder. Then the evil general was afraid and ran into a wood wall, but he didn't hurt himself or the wood wall. He just passed through it and he teleported around in the room. And I went to the wood wall and was looking for the entrance and spread my arms across the wall as far as I can, and was looking for some elevation and holes so I can pass through it and follow the general. Maybe he knows where my bike is. And part of the general teleported around in the room, but he was still whole. I once was at a train station and I got lost underground, and somebody told me the direction, and the train that I needed to catch was about to drive off. Then I ran and landed at a construction site that was somewhat locked, and I bolted through there without any difficulties, and I was overground again, and I had my orientation back, and that trauma or the memory probably caused that dream. The recording for the stream is already a few weeks old. When it was still fresh, Jos, Anton and we wanted to record a podcast, but the old hardware that we had at hand was giving us difficulties, At the same day, Anton brought some Japanese food from a restaurant and he didn't eat all of his sauce with it. I usually plan out my food during the meal so I can calculate how much sauce I am allowed to use for optimal overall taste. And I know that's very geeky. We also talked about the only acceptable sparkly water to mix with different kinds of juice. I am some sort of water sommelier and experimented a lot with water. As for the bikes, we got a bunch of bikes in our basement and I once needed to transport 2 bikes, but I just walked with them. I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but the mountain I drove down was covered in snow, and one exciting bike ride for me was when there was frost on the street and my bike tipped over about 45 degrees and I kicked with my left foot, and the counter momentum I was generating put the bike back up. I thought about health, hospitals and medications recently, and that's where I saw the nurses and the doctors in school in my dream. The woodshed reminded me of the one of our neighbors. The woodshed was about 4 times as spacious as the one in real life. I dreamed about the old neighborhood a lot during that time. Also, the general was probably from Star Wars because I saw some trailers about the Mandalorian for Disney Plus. About the space distortion, I've read a webtoon comic the day before called The Gamer. The link for that is in the comments. The previous chapter is also related because that's the one I dreamt of. Thanks for staying till the end. Please hit that like and subscribe button so more people can see those videos and to spread more joy around. If you liked this video, you will probably also like the one in the top right corner. Until next time, your professional dreamer, Alex. Sleep well and bye bye.